This is Wally Vaughn, the founder of Literature Day at Lilja School. And could you tell us something about the history of this great event?
Well, have to go back a long way, Libby. But since I go back a long way, we did begin the concept back at Lincoln School. I don't even remember what year it was, but I do know that it was really precipitated by a good friend of yours and mine, Mrs. Edith Dorfman. And she was our Natick's first elementary school librarian, and she loved literature herself, and she really got me excited about it more so than I had been as a teacher principal. And she got kids so excited about literature that I thought it might be nice to see if we could do some kind of a day, and I'm not sure exactly how the concept, the idea really formulated, and I'm sure it might have come from really one of the kids, the teachers, or all of us together. And
I think it was in March originally, wasn't it?
Yes.
At Lincoln. But
Yes.
then you started it here at Lilja.
Yes. Yes, and we came to Lilja, and this was just a marvelous place for it to happen because the teachers and the people here just loved the idea, and they took off with it literally because one of the big events of Literature Day when we started it here at Lilja was to have a balloon release. Environmentally now we don't do balloon releases as much, but in those days we did, and we would send tags of books the children had read, their favorite book and the author, and someone as far as Nova Scotia. And we got responses back from Nova Scotia and other places in the far distance, but it was a joyous sight to watch the children as they would just see those literature messages floating up into the sky.
I remember that. That was really beautiful. What are some of your other favorite memories of Literature Day?
Well, I think that the parades that we have had probably encompasses just about everything. I would watch Ginny Lister here be Winnie the Pooh, and all of her kids would get together and join in that, in the love of literature that I think she inspired, and that all the teachers did in joining in and letting the children become characters and to portray literary characters and to walk around the playground and to let the parents become a part of it, just to really live literature and to have fun with it.
What about some of the plays? I can remember some spectacular productions that Mrs. Giagrande put on. Remember some of those?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall.
It was Mary Poppins last year.
Oh, yes, yes. The creativity, and here again, I think it gave teachers like Diane Giagrande a chance to do some of the things that she is so talented at, and the children just got so involved and thrilled with you know, Mary Poppins or whatever other tales that she portrayed with her plays and creative theater.
And I remember the giveaways. There used to be lots of presents. It was almost like Christmas,
Yes.
Literature Day.
Yes. Yeah, Celia Biaggetti was so good at that. She loved to give things away. and the way that she would do it was just it was charming and so enjoyable for all of us. And the children would get some kind of a little memento or token for having participated in Literature Day. We'd have certificates, and there'd be the book gifts to see the children walk up from the audience and come up to Celia Biaggetti and take the book, and the beaming because they had this special literature book to bring back to their classroom for reading at a later time. It's just beautiful to see that seed of literature blossoming.
And it's still growing.
Yes.
Would you like to play your harmonica for us?
Well, I came to Lilja today to be in Literature Day, and I read Lentil to the second graders. And in Robert McCloskey's Lentil, Lentil is one who, like myself, cannot sing. And so he played the harmonica, so that's what I tried to do. And the song that they sang in the book was Coming Round the Mountain. It's a little bit on the high side, but we could try it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
According to television research, viewers, like you, are attracted to babies, puppies, and the word free. which is why we're using them to draw your attention to the federal government's free Consumer Information Catalog from, where else? Pueblo, Colorado. The catalog lists free and low-cost government publications on saving money, finding a job, educating your children, buying a home, getting federal benefits, staying healthy. Sorry, I thought I was losing you there for a second. Now, where were we? Oh, best of all, the Consumer Information Catalog is free, and so are many of the publications listed inside. To get your free Consumer Information Catalog, send your name and address to Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. That address again, Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009.
Welcome to the new Brown School Library. I'm sitting here with Clifford, the big red dog. The author and illustrator of the Clifford books visited the old Brown School in March of 1994, and Clifford has been waiting. He's sort of been sleeping and hibernating and waiting to come into his brand new home to greet all of the Brown School children who are eagerly awaiting the first day of the opening of the new school. I'm going to give you a little tour of the library with some of its artifacts and pictures. This is in the nonfiction section. We have special collections here, and we have a poster that was done by Mark Brown in the 70s, I think, and this is a book that's a telling of a Buddhist tale, and he gave it to me as a present, and I brought it over thinking that it would be a nice addition to the library. And the fairy tale section, I have a picture of the Wicked Queen from Snow White, which really says fairy tales to me. Continuing on with the nonfiction section, this is a good example of something old and something new. These models of the human body were purchased in the 70s with government funds. And of course, this is a new book about dinosaurs. And this velociraptor from Jurassic Park just hopped over from Borders to be part of the new Brown School Library. It wouldn't be Natick without Doug Flutie, and I have this picture here to mark where the sports section is. This is continuing on with the nonfiction section. And if we go over here in the biographies, I have a little display for Beatrix Potter, the author of the Peter Rabbit books. And I've also got a brand new biography of Beatrix Potter, which is in process, like many of the books. We've worked very hard to put this library together. We've been working for 3 weeks, Mrs. Rose and I, and many dedicated volunteers who have come in and spent hours getting every book in the proper order in the shelf, and also recovering them and retyping the cards so it looks spanking new. This is the beginning of the fiction section, and we have an old-fashioned picture from The Wizard of Oz in the bees, and we also have Paddington Bear, belonged to my daughter for many years, but he said he wanted to come and live in this library too. And this is the picture book section, and we have The Cat in the Hat, Lyle, Lyle, Crocodile, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and Little Toot, proclaiming that they are here and ready for readers to come and sample their stories. These are some special sections at the beginning of the library. This is the Newbery Award winners, both the winners and the honor books, and we have plans in the future to do the Caldecott as well, so that will be a work in progress. And next we have the seasonal books. And since we just had the autumnal equinox, here we are with books on fall, books on harvest, and Halloween and monsters. And this is the professional section, and I have brought in a book studying the art of Maurice Sendak from my own personal library, and there's also a couple of little wild things right here. And we will be expanding the books for the teachers in their professional library. One of the high points of this library, and one of the things that everyone is looking forward to seeing the most, is just a mechanical contraption in the storytelling area that allows a screen to lower when I press the magic button. Stay up. Yeah. Down. And the up is even fancier because of the way that it all tucks back in. Watch. For the very first story in the storytelling area here at Brown School, I've assembled a special audience. The school isn't open yet. It won't open until tomorrow. But we have some children of the teachers that are hard at work. Mrs. Murphy's son has taken time out from helping Mom in the music room, and Mrs. Stiefel's son has taken time out from helping his mother. And we have two faculty members that have taken a few minutes away from their unpacking and decorating, and a volunteer who's just moved from Memorial School over to Brown School, and her two children. So, this is the Brown School story. It was the first day of Brown School, the new beautiful building. And in the little playground, two kindergartners met each other for the first time. John, who was in Mrs. Hunt's room, and Mary, who was in Mrs. Bernath's room. And as they were sliding down the slide, John said, "Mary, why are you wearing a yellow ribbon around your neck?" And Mary said, "I can't tell you." Well, they went on through this beautiful new Brown School, and as the years went by, in the first grade, John had Mrs. Burns for first grade, and Mary had Mrs. Stiefel. And as they were walking to the cafeteria, John said, "Mary, why are you still wearing that yellow ribbon around your neck?" And Mary said, "I can't tell you." Well, they went on to a Brown School, and in the third grade, Mary had Mrs. Young, and John had, was another third grade teacher here?
Mr. Stefanowitz.
Mr. Stefanowitz. And as they were in the Olympics, the special Brown Olympics that they had, the relay races, there was Mary in her shorts and her sneakers and her Brown School t-shirt, and she was running fast, but she still had a yellow ribbon around her neck. And John came over to her and he said, "How come you're still wearing this on field day?" And she said, "I can't tell you." Well, after fourth grade, they went over and they attended Kennedy, and they both played in the Kennedy band. And even though they had special uniforms, John, who was playing a tuba, would notice that Mary still wore a yellow ribbon around his neck. And then they went up to Natick High School. Well, you know Natick High School very well. You were just there. And John was a very good football player, and Mary made cheerleading. But there was one thing very strange about Mary. She was so good at gymnastics and tumbling, and she could always climb to the top of the pyramids, that the coach overlooked the fact that with her uniform, she still wore a yellow ribbon around her neck. John and Mary graduated from Natick High, and they both went to BC. And after they graduated from college, they got married. And they were married at St. Patrick's Church, and it was a beautiful wedding. But as John stood down at the front of the church and saw Mary walking down the aisle, he was amazed that with her beautiful wedding dress, she still wore a yellow ribbon around her neck. Well, they both had good jobs, and they had excellent daycare that was able to take care of the 2 children that they had. And they lived in Natick for many, many years, and they saw the Natick Mall get older. And as they got older, they moved into St. Patrick's Manor together. And one day, they were sitting on the porch in their rocking chairs. And John said to his wife of 50 years, "Mary, why do you wear that yellow ribbon around your neck?" And very slowly, Mary brought her arms up to her neck, and her fingers untied the bow of the yellow ribbon, and her head fell off. And that is the Brown School story. Thank you for helping to inaugurate this special storytelling area. And now you can go back to work and get all ready for the opening.
I heard.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Radon is a deadly radioactive gas. You can't see it or smell it, but it's the 2nd leading cause of lung cancer in America. However, testing your home for radon is easy. And fixing a radon problem is a lot smarter than living with it.
Now, I have a story to tell you this evening. It's an old story with a few new twists. You might say it's a twisted rendition of an old story, and it has a little bit of audience participation in it. I'd like to invite you to snap along with me when I snap, and to stop snapping when I stop, so that I can play with the rhythm a little bit. And the music goes like this. Strike up the band, please. Ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-dum ba-da-dum bum bum. That sounds good. Dun 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 dun. Well, most of you know the story about Moses, right? Moses in the desert, Moses on burning bush, Moses on Mount Sinai getting the 10 Commandments. Well, I have reason to believe that Moses, as he's portrayed in the Bible, is not quite accurate. So I've taken it upon myself to write what I think really happened. So I'd like to share with you now Moses and what really happened. Ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-dum ba-da-dum bum bum bum. But now one day you see old Moses was high. That's right. Away up high on Mount Sinai, when who did he see in a 57 Ford? That's right, you guessed it, the Almighty Lord. Well, Moses said, "Hey, boss, you're looking mighty keen in them mirror shades and that driving machine." Lord said, "Why, thanks, Moses, don't be surprised. I'm just trying out some kinds of new disguise." Neep, neep. He said, "Look now, Moses, listen and see. I want for you to do a favor for me." "No, no, I can't," said Moses, "please understand. I gotta take these children to the promised land." "Oh, well, it won't take long," God said, "my son, but its effects will last for years to come." "I can't do it," said Moses, "as you can tell. I gotta get back there, down there raising hell." "Well, go ahead," said the Lord, "just understand it. I don't want to see you go back empty-handed. I made some commandments for you to take home. 100 there are, all etched in stone. They say, like, don't take money now, and don't take life, and don't you be messing with your neighbor's wife. Honor your old man, your old lady too, and don't you take in vain the name of you know who. Walk, don't run, don't play on the stairs, and don't you be pulling out your sister's hair. Don't do drugs or act like a jerk. Practice the piano now, do your homework. "Oh, wait," said Moses. "Hey, boss, now look, there was only 10 of them in the book. Remembering just 10 is such a chore, so tell me, please, God, why make more? You can't refuse this job, Moses, so don't even try. I want 100, and I'm God, said God. That's why. 100 commandments on 20 stones. I'm sorry they're so heavy, but the paper stores were closed. But now Moses did not quit easily. He said, wait now, boss, please listen to me. You know I'd love to help you, but I'm feeling weak. You see, I haven't had nothing but manna to eat. You owe me, said the Lord, for bringing you here. I could have left you in Egypt, Moses. Let me make this perfectly clear. I saved you from the river and from being a slave. Now you owe me a favor for the favors that I gave. Oh, God, said Moses. Oh, my. He stroked his beard and he gave it one last try. He said, oh, God who created man and beast, well, heaven and earth in less than a week, if you can smite Pharaoh and part the Red Sea, well, can't you take him down yourself instead of hitting on me? No, said the Lord. You see, I'm moving some junk. I got some brand new stars and planets all loaded in the trunk. And with a roar of his engine that set Moses reeling, he sent gravel flying, and with his tires squealing, he shot past Moses on into the night. Signal left at some rocks, and he was out of sight. Oh yeah. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. When the dust settled Moses, he was all alone with 20 tablets that he had to schlep home. He said, I guess there's no use to making noise. God said to move him, so I got no choice. Oh, well, he walked around the stones wondering how he'd do it till he finally got down and put all his strength into it. He got them in his arms. He heaved them off the ground. He took a deep breath, and then he started down. Oh, well, the stones made a large, heavy, awkward load, but step by painful step, he moved on down the road. He was just scraping by the skin of his tush. When up ahead he saw this burning bush. Well, he circled wide around, giving it lots of room, when he noticed that it burned, but it wasn't consumed. Boss, is that you? He asked, squinting his eyes. Well, yeah, said the Lord, do you like this disguise? It's different, said Moses. It's you. It's bad. It's hot. In fact, it's cool. But he got too close to that blazing pyre, and the next thing he knew, Moses' beard was on fire. He said, holy cow! Woe is me. And the back of Moses running's all that you could see. He ran down the mountainside, trailing smoke, and as he ran, tablets dropped and broke. One by one, they fell from his hand and scattered all across that dry desert land. And by the time he got back, he'd lost all but 2. And finding the rest was more than he could do. Well, it was sometime just before it was night when he finally got back to the Israelites, shaking his head and clenching his fist, saying, my, oh my, the boss ain't gonna like this. Well, now the sight of Moses standing with a singed-off beard, hugging 2 big rocks, well, the others thought this weird. They crowded around him, pulling at his clothes and pointing at the stones, saying, Moses, what are those? Well, he stroked his beard, but of course it wasn't there. So he ran his fingers through the air. They're tablets, he said. God gave them with a warning. All the sinners take 2. And call them in the morning, yeah. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. Well, the next day, God was cruising the town, and what on earth do you suppose he found? That's right, 18 tablets, making a path from the top of Sinai almost to Moses' lap. Well, he went to Moses, said, I should have knew it, gave you one small job, and then you went and blew it. Been thinking up commandments since I don't know when. I gave to you 100, and all you brought back was 10. But Moses said, oh, come on, chill out, boss. 10 was still enough to get the point across. But God, he didn't seem to understand, and that's why Moses never reached the promised land. And this is all the reason why, because it happened just this way. We still do not have more than 10 commandments to this day. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, boom. Boom. Thank you.